Time and time again, civilizations have rebelled against their leaders in an effort to gain freedom. History has shown that an abuse of power by an authority commonly results in great resistance of the population. The Revolutionary War depicted here is one remarkable example of the result of oppression and tyranny creating violent opposition. The British colonists came to the conclusion that freedom is not negotiable and something must be done. Yet even before the Revolutionary War, humanity has made significant attempts to enjoy freedom. In the early 13th century, the Magna Carta was drafted in England in an attempt to put restraint on the power of the king and grant more freedom to the citizen. Even in very early times, people did not blindly subject themselves to the unquestionable power of the ruler in charge, but actually made attempts to prevent a misuse of power. The film V for Vendetta is a clear portrayal of this resistance towards tyrannical behavior. The film features a dystopian society run by an extremely oppressive government. The protagonist, a mass vigilante figure known as V, takes on the responsibility of combating the government's wrongdoings and restoring freedom.
Taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
Just let me think.
In fact, even now, orders are being shouted into telephones, and men with guns will soon be on their way.
It's Chancellor Sutler.
Damn it!
Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
You designed it, sir. You wanted it foolproof. You told me every television in London.
Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission.
We need cameras.
How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. Like V for Vendetta, the novel 1984 presents another tyrannical dystopian society. The novel's depicted government also makes great attempts to ensure that the population's resistance is both difficult and unlikely. The regime attempts to stage disasters such as explosions to keep the population fearful and compliant. Their actions suggest that they are aware that people would naturally prefer freedom, so the regime works to prevent them from pursuing this freedom. Unlike V for Vendetta, the protagonist of 1984, Winston, does not openly work to defeat the corrupt system in charge. However, Winston does show disapproval towards the ruling party, just in a more subtle manner. Winston keeps a secret journal in which he writes his critiques about the government. This demonstrates that intense desire for freedom. Due to the regime's heavy surveillance, this cowardly manner of self-expression is the most individualism Winston can safely express. However, that natural desire to remain free eventually empowers Winston to engage in more individualistic behavior. His feelings of the government begin to shine outside of the safety of his private journal. The ridiculousness of the regime's codes prove to cause Winston's resistance. He voluntarily decides, as many have throughout history, that life without freedom is not worth living. Yet, after Winston's capture, the government attempts to break his natural will to resist tyranny. While many dictators and oppressive regimes have risen to power and been greatly supported by their population, people still nevertheless favor freedom over tyranny. If a dictator such as Hitler or Mussolini is supported, it is because their people do not see their particular freedoms threatened. Once these freedoms are threatened, that is where resistance is created, and consequently extreme oppression. Conclusively, people are naturally freedom-seeking, and tyrannical behavior will always create strong resistance.